DreamHack ASTRO Open is brought to you by Astro Gaming, Monster Energy, and Zowie.
Welcome back, everyone, to DreamHack ASTRO Open Leipzig 2017. That's right, esports does not sleep. We are back within 2 weeks of the year kicking off with the first DreamHack of 2017. What that madman's doing, no one knows. But nevertheless, we are waiting here with bated breath over the next 3 days, watching 8 great teams in Counter-Strike finding their way through for that handcrafted trophy on the main stage. Welcome back to Leipzig. We're into game number 3 next up. We've got a very interesting match as well. Fnatic Academy against LDLC. Let's see what our analysts make of this one. We've got Sponge back and Lurpus once more. Lurpus, we'll start with you. What do you make of this matchup? Very intriguing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's a shame that Fnatic Academy has a stand-in here, or, well, I mean, it sort of came out last minute, so it seems like a stand-in, but based on no information being released or anything, it seems like maybe just a very last-minute player change, actually.
Yeah.
Or a change that's been in the works for a couple of days, but just wasn't announced until a very late day. But, I mean, they looked good late last year. They had a solid showing at ESWC. They beat ENCE and they beat Heroic, I think, before going out. And then they won the event in China, where they beat...
called China Top, just for the event name, so everyone knows how fantastic the Chinese are at naming their events.
I mean, branding really is next level.
Yeah, very important.
We're going to start by getting you into Fnatic Academy and showing you their lineup. Sponge, what do you make of this team?
I don't know. For me, it just feels like both of these teams are kind of farm teams for the rest of their scene, right? So I don't know if the Fnatic's plan is let's chuck a bunch of young kids under the brand and we'll take the best one later on.
It's called Academy, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of is, you'd think of it as a feeder team, wouldn't you? You think, well,
Yeah.
are they putting these together, young players together who are exciting and interesting to watch, who maybe haven't got experience, giving them some LAN stuff and then see which one of them pops up and maybe makes the main team. But it hasn't really worked out like that.
It's weird though, right? Like, it's not like League of Legends where the farming teams, you can just go into like the main team that's already in the LCS or whatever it is. In Counter-Strike, like, it's not like that. It's just an open circuit, so they could play in anything. It's weird.
I mean, Pleasant is the one that... sorry.
I think what it really is just Karn's master plan to get cheap contracts. He's hoarding contracts of players. Someone's going to become good, and then he's going to be like, all right, guys.
I hope Patrick's here, because I hope he pops over and he's like, hey, Mr. Tommy, come on.
He's like, hey, please, don't tell everybody. I can let you in on this. You can start an academy team too. But yeah, Pleasant is the big guy.
Yeah.
He was the stand-in for actual Fnatic
stats as well. He was
the stand-in for Fnatic early last year when all of Meister first got injured. Didn't do well then. He apparently hadn't really played in a team before. He was just an FPL star. But obviously he's really turned into a much more complete player now. He was the MVP by far of China Top, the masterfully named tournament that took place in Beijing, I believe.
Yeah.
He finished the grand final with something ludicrous like plus 30 in 2 maps.
Plus 36, 1.63,
no,
I think.
Exactly.
Yeah, absurd.
Just a really important thing as well. Karos is on the screen right now. Someone spilt Monster on his mousepad, so he has to use a different mousepad, JW themed mousepad. So maybe he'll channel his inner Jasper.
Right.
Yeah, that's the most important analysis.
I'm glad that we've added that to the.
Well, then we don't really have much more to go with.
No,
that was the top of it.
We just go with Fnatic from now on. Let's switch our attention to LDLC. Of course. Masterminded, I guess you could call it, by a very legendary player. Kevin has been around for a very long time indeed. Legendary as an in-game leader in Counter-Strike Source and in Counter-Strike Global Offensive in the early part of the days, but sometimes criticised, as we said earlier on, for his rigidness.
Yeah, and USBs can be tricky, as we just saw there. It's always a 50-50 gamble. No, but so yeah, exactly. Like the way that he runs his team is pretty structured, but I think he would have learned, by getting dropped from the top tier, that he needs to maybe be a bit looser. But getting kids, or not necessarily kids, but younger talent, they respect him, right? So this is maybe a change towards the end of the days in the top French scene. So now he's got some kids to train up, and the star players, I think, I'm going to massacre this. It's probably in French. It's like Taunu or something, and Miss, and I think it's XMS are the two highest rated players, according to HLTV.org. So those are the guys to look out for. But Existence has the power here to carry his team. And you've seen it before in matches they play where he's the top fragger and the in-game leader, which is great to see.
Yeah, and then we have me, who's a Brit, you, who holds a British passport, and Tommy, who works in Britain. So we're all excited to see how Alex does, bearing in mind that he's, albeit slightly French, but he's from Britain.
You're really...
We're claiming him anyway, we don't care. We've got so few players on the international stage. No,
you're really reaching for things here.
I am, I know I'm reaching a little bit, but I'm just happy that we can see someone from Britain playing in a good team.
This is the equivalent now to Finnish people saying they're super happy that Nico Rosberg won the formula. It's like, oh, he's so Finnish. He's representing Germany, has a German passport, doesn't speak Finnish, but Finland.
Yeah, go Finland.
That's the equivalent.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm happy if he plays as well as Nico Rosberg tries. We'll probably be okay in here. We've got Matt Vidos to come in just a moment. What sort of impact are they going to have on this one? Best of one.
Same thing, in my opinion. We have one team who's super strategical and one team who I don't know a lot about, to be completely honest, but I would assume with the Swedish style, they probably play a looser version of Counter-Strike. So there's the strategic maps going again. Overpass and Nuke taken out by Fnatic Academy.
So you'd expect Dust2 to go.
And I'd be surprised if Fnatic doesn't veto Train next, because that's actually a very good map for LDLC. The problem is it actually very well might end up being Dust2, and that's, even though it wasn't shown as the best map for LDLC, that's a very good map for them. They play kind of curiously on CT side, the way Existence likes to have his teams play, where they actually don't really play inside of B. They sort of play 3 people on the B side, but they play outside of the window, outside of the door area, and sort of just collapse on middle a lot. And that's been seemingly catching a lot of teams off guard. We'll see if they choose to go for that, which...
I'm going to turn back the clock here. It's good they banned Mirage, because when I played Existence at a major and they didn't ban Mirage, and my team didn't play it either at the time, we slammed him. So he's not taking any risks anymore.
Still remembers it.
There's the Dust2. I got to remember, that was like the best game I ever played, so I got to remember it.
Right. Okay, so we do end up with Dust2, almost as predicted, three bans in. So, I mean, it is an open map. It is a bit of a puggy map. You can play it loose if you need to. Does it suit one or the other team?
It's actually kind of interesting now, because Fnatic really presumably is doing the full Swedish thing where they just kind of roam around, they look for picks, they look for openings, take map control, and then just decide, all right, or someone decides I'm going to go get a pick here, and then they just go with them. They play free Counter-Strike, from what I know. Whereas LDLC, they actually don't play super structured on Dust2, because let's face it, you can play like super crazy complicated CS on Dust2, but they also don't just play like the default spots where you need to out-aim people, because they know they don't have that personnel. They can play that style. So it's still a bit of a mix of styles, even though it's not as big of a difference as it might have been on, say, Train or Overpass.
Is there a favorite? I guess we're moving towards predictions, so yeah, feel free to take as long as you want to establish why one of these two teams will win.
Well, I mean, from what I've seen of LDLC on Dust2, I like the way they play. I think, assuming that Fnatic doesn't have a lot of experience playing against them and knowing how to adjust for that style, it seems like a lot of the teams, they don't really know how to play against them, because most CT teams simply don't play the way they do. So it just seems like it's a hard adjustment for terrorists to make, unless they win the pistol and they start just breaking their economy and sort of just win the game that way without actually getting contended. I actually think LDLC is generally better on the CT side, from at least in the games that I've seen them play. They've generally been better on the CT side. So it's sort of like a weird mixture. For Fnatic, obviously, because they play simpler, it's more reliant on skill. They're missing one of their players. I don't know how much they've got to play with Jace Watkins.
Yeah, he's a Jay-Z fan.
Yeah. But it shouldn't hurt them that much on Dust2, but some of that, like, there will be some roles, if they haven't played a lot, where they got used to someone doing things a certain way, and he will not be on the same page with them. So I'll just go with Existence and his guys over here.
All right.
Yeah, I'll go with LDLC as well. I think even if they do play a little bit looser on Dust2, having executes up your sleeve and be able to use them to fake a team. So Fnatic Academy are a newer bunch of players. They might, get faked out quite easily and stuff like that. And then Existence can use that to his advantage. He obviously has the prestige as an in-game leader, and I think he'll have what it takes to call his team across the line.
All right. Well, if Fnatic have any hope, where is it going to come from? Is it going to come from a magical piece of play from one player, or is it going to come from a player having a big game? Where do you see it coming from them? I
think catching LDLC off guard if they're a little bit cold, I think that's where they're going to need to step it up and have their players perform well off the bat. Force duels and really take them off guard. Yeah. I don't know, like I said before, I don't know too much about Fnatic Academy, so I can't talk about how they're going to approach the game. But I think they have the players who can play FPL and top frag, so they have the talent. It's just if they can show up straight away.
And I think for LDLC to, or rather for Fnatic to win, they can theoretically win on either side of the map. The one thing for LDLC is, I think they sort of need a good CT half, because I just don't see, let's say if they have a bad CT half, I just don't see them winning 12, 13 rounds on T side, because I think Fnatic has enough skill where, like you said, I mean, they have individually skilled players. They have the kind of guys who can play pugs with simple and do well. They have enough explosiveness that someone's going to catch fire somewhere and win that round you shouldn't win, and that's the sort of thing that usually puts you over the top on Dust 2.
Yeah, just an odd round here or there. Let's bring in our commentary team for game number 3 and say good afternoon, gentlemen. How are we up there?
Hanging in there.
All good?
Yeah.
Yeah, exciting so far. I mean, first 2 games, I guess, I don't know how you view them, but the second one we thought Flipside would be a bit more dominant in that one.
Yeah, definitely. Flipside looked very, very dominant. Big tried to do the comeback, but in the end it kind of fizzled out, and Flipside was the one to grab that victory. But now we have 2 very interesting teams, LDLC and Fnatic Academy. In my eyes, my favorite match of day 1, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Do you think this is going to be very even blue, or do you feel like we've got a definitive answer, obviously, from the experts here?
I think there is actually a chance for sorry to interrupt. There is a chance for Fnatic Academy to actually sneak through in this one, simply because we saw LDLC play Dust 2 back in the Mountain Dew League finals, which were played last weekend over in the Los Angeles ESL studio, and they kind of whiffed it on Dust 2 like they did. They weren't looking very solid at all, and their T side just looked completely lost. So if they bring that same sort of thing again, then there's a very large chance that the Fnatic Academy guys could actually sneak it in and steal this one away from them.
Yeah. Do you think there's an outstanding player on that Fnatic team that might be able to help them out?
I think that'd be more of a question for you, Rizzik.
Yeah, well, technically I would have said Jason, but he's not a part of the team anymore. So, but I think it's going to be a toss-up between Pleasant and JC Walkings, because JC Walkings is going to be the one to watch, because we have no idea how he's going to fit into this team. Obviously, he's an AWPer, so we got that down. But with chemistry and with tactics, smokes and flashes, all that stuff, it's going to be very hard to predict, so we're going to have to wait until they go into the game. Pleasant is a bit more one-sided, as he's been in the team for a long while, has good stats, good understanding of the game. So with that in mind, I think he'll be the one to watch.
Yeah, had a stunning success, as Lopez mentioned earlier. I think it was sort of plus 36 in the final and 1.63 KD. I mean, it's just fantastic. If he produced those kind of results today, do you think that might just carry him over the line?
I think it's going to be a close victory to LDLC, but I think Fnatic Academy will have a chance. But it all depends on how well JC Walkings fits with the team, in my opinion, because usually these 2 teams are very close to each other on the ranking list. And with Fnatic, of course, losing that man and losing that part of their chemistry and part of their setup, that's going to knock them down a bit. So it's going to be pretty close, I think, 13-16 or something like that.
All right, okay. Well, take it away, gents. The game is all yours.
All right, well, thank you very much. Yeah, we're getting prepared to jump into this one. Once again, it is going to be Fnatic Academy, not the usual Fnatic roster itself, taking on LDLC, which is seen as another one of those, like, kind of a step below the big guys in terms of the French scene, not necessarily the Swedish scene, of course. So it's an interesting clash between those 2 teams, which are sort of the step down. And JZ Walkson coming in, the last time you probably would have seen him at a big event would have been not the Mountain Dew League LAN, which happened last weekend, but the one that happened a couple months ago back in Poland. And he was absolutely crazy there at that event. Specifically, I think it was the semifinals versus Echo Fox, if I'm remembering it correctly, where he dropped like a 40 bomb on one map or something like that. It was just went off. They got, unfortunately, they kind of got crushed, if I remember correctly, in the final. Their team did, but he still had a pretty solid performance. So it's going to be interesting to see how he goes up against LDLC, specifically a squad led by Existence, of course, which is something definitely not to ignore.
So yeah, it's going to be very interesting, as you say, and as we talk about Existence, we all, of course, you and me covered the European minor where he was as well, and he was the main talking point, because in some of the games where his team really showed their best potential, he was the one being on the scoreboard. As I think Sponge said, that he can be on top of the scoreboard, he can be the top fragger, he can technically be the entry fragger if he needs to. He's kind of like a Swiss Army knife. You just pull out and just send him, go do something, and he actually does that.
Yeah, and again, just to bring up this point that I brought up with the analyst a few moments ago too, is the fact that Dust 2 is an interesting choice of map, considering how they just played it in their grand final match, and they kind of got destroyed. Now, there was one key factor in that match that was sort of out of their control in a certain respect, and that was on Rogue's team. It was Victor that just literally completely restricted the A-long avenue for the entire map. I think they managed to successfully kill him like 1 or 2 times out of the total 15 rounds in that half, and for every other time that they they tried to push that avenue of the map, he just completely shut them down. I don't imagine that anyone else on Fnatic Academy is going to be that dominant in one specific area of the map, specifically over at A-Long. But I mean, if they can have a team of players restrict that, that was an area of the map that they love to go to so much. And if they're going to try to pull out the same strat, and then the denial from Fnatic Academy side is going to be just as strong, then they might be able to force them into making a lot of those same mistakes they made just a couple days ago.
Yeah, and when talking about Dust 2 as well, is that as you mentioned, they played it at the Mountain Dew League finals. Dust 2 is also the map that they usually pick first in the best of 3. This LDLC map, so they actually got the map they wanted. Of course, with the last match against Rogue, now we think, okay, was that a fluke, or is that how they're actually going to play at Dust 2 from now on? Because if that's a problem, because that is their usually first pick. So this is going to be a great showing to kind of give you guys an image of how these teams are looking as we progress further into this tournament, because if all of a sudden LDLC can win on their first pick in the best of 3, that's a very, very big warning sign for an upcoming quarterfinal or semi-final coming into the playoffs, where they're going to play these best of 3s and the deciders as well, which are also going to be best of 3s. So this could be a big problem, and this match is pretty much going to showcase if that problem is real or not.
The other problem for LDLC that I think I was able to bring up with them in interviews a couple of times too over the course of last weekend is the fact that their pistols are a very big issue for LDLC across the board on multiple maps, and their just inability to win them. I even talked to them at one point. It was like a slow sort of series of getting better at taking control of those. So they weren't winning anything at all in their first set they played against Kingwin. Then the second set they played, they were winning their pistols, but then I think they won both pistols in the best of 1 they played, but then they kept getting anti-ecoed in the second round, like both times at the same map. So they ran into that problem, and they were able to fix that, but then they seem to have lost all that progress in the finals once again. So it's a really weird sort of sense of regression that this team had, that hopefully with them learning some of the stuff that they played last week, they're going to be able to bring that much better so into Dust 2 now. And especially with it being on Dust 2, you know, pistol rounds 1 are going to be even more crucial, since there's not like a huge side difference leaning one way or the other.
So, still waiting here to go live. We'll go live any second, boys. Of course, we need the players to be 100% ready before we go anything. And it's one of the things that I think DreamHack does really well. They're really taking good care of players, and they've gotten a lot of respect from the players for this event as well, just to mention that. So, kudos to DreamHack.
The booths.
The booths as well.
We're in a booth.
We're in a booth. We're in our own little casting container. That's nice.
Yeah.
Love that. But yeah, the LDLC players, of course, very focused here. Preparing for this one, and it's going to be very exciting, because these are two teams, in my opinion, before the whole JSR switch, that was going to be the most interesting to watch, due to the way that they play the game, because they play very differently, but also play a very structuralized way. Fnatic a little bit more loose, but still a lot of structure, a lot of organization. Of course, the Existence team is always going to play one way, because that is the Existence way, and I'm looking forward to seeing these two styles clash. I just want to see that JSR, or not that JSR, that JC Walking's AWP in that battle with Banu, because that's going to be sick.
Let's actually settle this right now. How do you actually say his name? Is it JC Walkins, or is it
Jace Walkins? That's the question.
I don't know. We've never been able to figure it out. Probably.
Me being a rap fan, of course, I'm just going to say JC.
I think that's what we assumed it to be at the last land, but that was me and Bach, and we couldn't actually figure it out. I don't think we ever actually asked him either.
No, someone should probably ask him, is it Jace or JC?
I think we'll stick with Jay-Z. Is
he a League of Legends fan or hip-hop fan? That's the question. That's the question. We're going to find out. We're going to find that out and much more in this upcoming game here. This best of 1 on DE Dust 2 at DreamHack Leipzig Open, of course, sponsored by Astro. So it's going to be a good one here coming in. Of course, slight delay here, but it's going to be fixed in no time, boys, and we'll be straight into the server.
Yeah, just a bit of a reminder of the schedule too, guys. Keep in mind that after this one, there's still going to be 3 more best of 1s to play out today. You've got the one remaining initial match, which is going to be between Vega and Rogue, and then I think we'll get into the upper matches today too. So we'll still have to figure out the winners of the other ones there, and then we'll have the prospective fights that'll settle out there a little bit later on today. And that'll be brought to you by Metas and Dust.
Yeah, definitely. Also, one thing to consider is that when we're playing the winner games tonight, that means that the team that wins here and basically goes straight to the playoffs, they're going to have a lot of time to sit and watch these other teams play the rest of these games and strat them, write everything down, what they're doing in these games. And because the decider games are best of 3 as well, they're going to have a big sample size from this event of how these teams are banning and picking in veto, but also how they are playing this one out in these specific maps. So if, for example, LDLC goes on through, we know that Existence is going to be up all night watching every single game, writing everything down. So that could be a huge, huge advantage for his team.
So it could be an advantage. There's an interesting sort of like psychological aspect to that, in the way that, you know, it can be an advantage for some players, but it can also be like a disadvantage for some other players, because they kind of cool off over the course of that day that they have to themselves, and when they come back into the next day, they might not be as warmed up. I mean, you know, they have the practice PCs and everything that they can use, but it's not the same as playing in a match itself. So sometimes the players will show up and then all of a sudden they're not really playing as well as they were the previous day, and sometimes that day off can actually hurt those teams too. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword, depending entirely on the player. Of course, it's very disconnected. It's not like there's a consistent theming about it.
So we're going to take a short commercial break, guys, to fix the issues on the stage. It's going to be done in no time. We're going to be straight back after it. See you then.
Exclusive black equalizer brightens dark scenes without overexposing bright areas. Use the S switch to quickly access the setting and switch between save modes.
Can you feel it? It's the calamity of your fears. Like thunder, it rolls in. The echo of past defeats. The voices in your head tell you to give up. But you aren't going to, are you? Listen instead to that lone voice of defiance. The one that got you this far. The grand arena is waiting for you. You can hear the crowd roaring, relentlessly waiting for a glimpse of your unparalleled precision. And when you have done everything to prepare yourself, then it's time to step into the light and boldly face your true enemy. The enemy within. You are ready. Ready to win.
Fantastic first breath, they let him move! Apex spraying them down, he decimates Tempo Storm. Second bot, and they line up again! Cold, 3, nearly 4, he gets it in the end!
There has to be quick from phase, they have no kids, but Boris in a lovely position.
Oh! That was sick! He failed to the challenge. One quick kill and the nade. All the phases. Oh! The defense from NIP, there it is! This is a great read here. I mean, Luminos, they don't even know this is happening yet. Flex off, and they line up. He's just there, oh, what action! It's an ace to finish the half! He's sticking together the 5-man unit, making their way to the sides. Disco's off and waiting. And here we go, Draco, an opportunity, can't find the trust. He goes down, actually doesn't get anything, but Disco Doublet lights it up! He hits 4 kills, just gonna be pit remaining. Patience is the Snax that has to do so 1 versus 2, and Guardian still on that AWP. Snax with the same weaponry. Oh, but he finds the shot, and a Guardian! And oh my god, Snax, have you ever just stolen it from Na'Vi? A glimmer of hope. Can't now in a 1 versus 4. Oh my goodness! Are you gonna pull off the record? Gary gets the clutch! Are you serious?
Conquer yourself. Win again.
Stage is now set, ladies and gentlemen, for us to jump into this game. Once again, it is LDLC versus Fnatic Academy. Two teams that are rising, of course, in their respective scenes. The Swedish scene for Fnatic Academy and the French scene for LDLC. But LDLC has a bit of an edge in that respect, in that they're led by a veteran, the French team, that is Existence. They played last week over at the Mountain Dew League Grand Final, so they managed to take second place there. And now they're back once again here at the first stop on the DreamHack ASTRO Open Tour.
So here we go. The ninth round has been played so far. We're not quite sure what side people are going to start on, but that means when we go live into the game, we're straight on live. Going to start the game with the pistol rounds as we've done so far in this tournament. So no time wasted as we jump into DE Dust 2. That's going to be the map for this bout between these two teams. Who's going to come out on top and who's going to face Heroic in the winner's game in this Group A? That's the question. That's what we're looking to find out here. And look what Fnatic Academy is starting with. 2 flashes in the smoke and armor on the rest of the team. Golden being the support player to throw those grenades. And let's see where they want to go.
And so, as we take a look at it here too, Fnatic immediately starting to probe a little bit over there towards his long doors. Not really moving beyond that though, but Tanu, with this aggressive push through the mid doors, holds the position against Plessin and immediately shuts him down. So already, Fnatic Academy are going to be minus a man within the first couple seconds of their pistol. There's also 2 in the pit, but XMS, not affected by that flashbang, takes down 2 very quickly. He's going to look for more here too as he chases it down the flick out of nowhere. Eliminates Golden. He's got 1 more in front of him. That's going to be JJ Walkings. Out comes the knife, missing the slash, but corrects it, and he destroys the remainders from LDLC, and that's a destructive start.
And you just know Paul is jumping up and down in the backstage right now, but because the only UK player in the tournament started out with a knife frag. That's how we do it here in DreamHack. That is insane, and LDLC will grab round number 1 here on Dust 2, starting on the CT side.
And so off of that, of course, Fnatic are already going to have to recover from that one. They've sent JZ Walkingson separate from the rest of the team, holding over here at the edge of top mid. But look at this, the aggressive play from Mr. rolling in. The flashbangs only hit 1 of them, so he gets a 1-for-1 trade. Golden is pretty quickly going to take him down. However, there's still the SMG, the P90 further back, and actually that nade tosses away the SMG from those guys, and it actually prevents anybody on Fnatic Academy from being able to pick that up. And now the timing on these pushes from LDLC looking much better all of a sudden here, as we can see XMS moving in, getting so much intel and now tapping away at these guys. He's knocked out 1, struggles to get more than that though, and that will, however, will be a weapon that goes into the hands of Fnatic Academy. So that is very much so in their territory of the map.
See here, JZ Walkins with the Tech 9, definitely one of the players to watch on the Fnatic Academy side, as Alex once again tries to do the damage, and Existence will finish his job with a headshot onto Karis with that P90. And now Twanu, the AWP player from LDLC, is up for grabs here.
Tanu trying to peck away at some of these guys. Can't find them. However, Alex, in the meantime, super aggressive up on top. Nice. He was not able, as you mentioned there, he was not able to stop the bomb from going down, but still shuts down the round without anything else happening.
But to be honest, if you're Fnatic Academy, of course they're buying into this round with Tech 9, so they're hoping to get a bit more, but getting the bomb down is pretty good as well. They're denying 2 weapons, of course the M4s that are bought are going to be switched up, but still getting that bomb plant is pretty good. We've got JC Walkins, of course, saving up for the AWP. They're not going to be able to buy an AWP this round coming up, but let's see what they're going to do, because they could invest something into this one. They're not going to buy AKs, I think. But they could invest something like Tech 9s and armor and a couple of flashbangs and maybe into this one. JC Walkins with 4.3, the other players around 2.5, 2.7, and we do see the Deagles coming in here, plus some utility as well. So there's definitely a set execute in mind here coming in from Fnatic Academy. Question is, where do they want to go? Right now looking like B.
They're going to push themselves. They've pushed themselves into tunnels in quite a few of the past rounds, though, so this could still transition to essentially anything from this point forward. It's Tanu on the aggressive push again, though. We had one of their players doing it before. Existence grabs a kill, and oh, a team kill! Manages to work its way into the mix there, too. Tanu knows he's another one here at the bottom of it. That round goes by very quickly as the third one gets racked up onto the board for LDLC.
I really like that read from LDLC. When they know that it's going to be a pistol round, then they know, okay, it's probably going to go into tunnels again, then into lower. They did the exact same thing in the pistol round. Post Twanu down behind this mid box and then just hold an angle into lower, and he just gets everything done here. Bunch of kills here for him, actually. That's a triple kill in that round, and he got 1 frag to begin the pistol round as well. So he's been very successful in that position. But now, JC Walkins, the man with the best name in CSGO, has an AWP.
And they're going to be hanging out outside of the long doors for right now. Looking very, very reserved on this first gun round, too. Not wanting to risk anything in those first couple of seconds. They have a bit of smoke coverage over there. It's going to move them forward, but what? It doesn't even matter. The timing on the spray from Existence is perfect. And he takes down Karis right at the start.
Yeah, that looked like some next level stuff coming out from the Existence. Just putting that smoke down and okay, they're probably going to be on short now. Sprays through, gets a kill.
You think that's a free pass up towards Catwalk, but the timing from Existence is perfect.
There we go, XMS holding that long, and once again a smoke shot. Of course, this time he could see the bullets go through. That's a bit more reading into the game. XMS getting that one onto board 10. Swedish explanation coming out there. And Twano right now, once again with the AWP, going to be held out. But JC Watkins gets one in, but that's all blue. Only one kill in that buy round.
And that's all they managed to sneak through there, too. I mean, it's a very slow start to it from the guys over on from Fnatic Academy. They already lose that one guy that tries to push in, and they try to sort of haphazardly push their way into the A site. But, I mean, it's read like a book from LDLC. They already know that's happening, judging from the spray down that comes in from Existence. They get the read on that. I mean, just that smoke tells you they're going to try to, at the very least, poke one or two guys into the site to see if they can grab a kill. But when they full commit, it's very easy, actually, for LDLC to get players in position. They're not pressured at all by, like, smokes or anything like that, and they pretty easily shut that down. Now, Tanu gets aggressive once again, but it's actually Existence grabbing the kills here in the meantime. Tanu sees like 3 to 4 players pushing in. So once again, they can just post up for this one. They may not be able to stop a player leaping down, but they don't even do that. Flashbangs rolling from the CTs. It does hit Alex, and unfortunately can't do much about that. So Batten is going to take down Alex, but then Toronto rolls up really quickly. A nice headshot for him. Swings out, sneaks that second kill in, and then grabs the third for good measure too, as XMS helps out with the fourth.
And that is why Twani is one of the players to watch, or the player to watch in this LDLC team, because he plays very, very confidently with the AWP, but he can also switch to the pistol in the 5-7 here and just take out players left, right, and center, just holding down the angle, just nothing but headshots, to be honest. And that is perfect for him. 5-0 for LDLC, and second buy round coming in here for Fnatic Academy.
The shots from JZ Walkings are going to connect as they miss the players on the cross here. LDLC investing, and this time we can see too Mistu picking up, still rolling, I should say, with the P90 now. And they have Tawanu up on the bit of a boost here too to see if they can find anybody going lower early on. Won't be the case. Again, Fnatic are stuck behind these barrels, which seems to be the only real area they can get, control of here confidently. They're not even going to be able to push Cat anymore, despite the fact they have the smoke on it. Alex is actually even going to use this too to sneak through it, and it's perfectly played from Alex. He finds Karis and takes him down as he tries to push through. Fnatic are just stuck in that corner. They can't safely move out anywhere else currently.
This is actually master play coming out of LDLC. Also, just the small things. Like, there's so much to analyze here. I'm pretty sure that the desk are just going to go ham with this and how they're playing the CT side when we get to that part. If we get to that part, of course, if LDLC wins this one. But so far, they played perfectly here on the CT side. And Alex just holding the top of that smoke. Someone jumps up, and he's just dead.
Absolutely dirty from Alex as he sneaks in another kill from the top of this one. XMS is tired of waiting now. He's going to sneak in. They did miss one of them inside of that smoke. Unfortunately, so Golden is actually going to be able to pick up 2, but it's a quick trade from Tawanu as he does find Golden. Plesson sneaking in there too. Trades out one more, so all of a sudden this is a 1v2. Unfortunately for Plesson though, while he has gotten control of the site, the bomb is still not under his control. It's still sitting way back over there outside of the long doors and around the corner too. This is easily going to take him 20 seconds plus to get this and then get back onto the site. At the very least, he may be able to make a run over towards the B-bomb site with 25 seconds still remaining on the clock, but it's not going to be the case. He's going to go right back in, and now he has to, he has to take the site for a second time as Existence is holding a position here now.
18 seconds to go, and he has to push straight in. He has to get on the side and maybe get a first kill before he can get it down. But, oh, he goes for the first kill, not the second one. Existence in CT spawn is the savior for the French team, and they will get yet another round on the board. Fnatic still to get a single one.
And so, with that, again, LDLC are shutting things down. A little bit of a slip up there in the aggressive way they push out there. Their own smokes work against them. And it allows for Golden to sneak those 2 kills in and possibly allows for a clutch from Plesson. But the unfortunate mistake of leaving the bomb outside of there and the fast way they had to take control of the site does kind of screw him over in the end in the 1v2.
So here we go, XMS and Alex holding down long. They're getting flashed out right now by this Tech-9 trainer. They might be caught off guard here, but the Tech-9's just slightly mistiming there. They could have pushed out and gotten the kills, and now the counter flash comes in. XMS is sitting behind the barrels and should be gunning all of them down now in a matter of seconds.
He's waiting for them to push back in. He spots one, and there you go. There's the headshot. There's the second one. Can't find any more than that, but Tawanu has now chimed in. Alex picking up the frags here, too. In Existence, trying to hunt down that last guy. Golden, once again, actually kind of being fast with the smokes at this point, sneaking in without being detected. It's the second time in a row it's happened, but Tawanu eventually finds his mark, takes him down, and it is another fairly clean round from LDLC.
Yeah, this has been so one-sided so far. And I've really been looking forward to this match, and to be honest, it's not really living up to expectations so far. Fnatic Academy just being rinsed right now. And it's mainly due to the masterful play from LDLC, but I haven't really seen much from Fnatic that can show me that they can actually come into this game by now so far. So JC Watkins has to do something right now. He has to be the one to step up. With the AWP, there's a lot of investment coming into
this. Twanu, no utility, nothing about this. He just walks right in and headshots Plessen. No worries about that at all. Doesn't even take any damage from it. Very well played by him. He's going to fall back, and they'll add extra support here towards the mid doors now. They'll actually try to go for a peek on it too, which could prove dangerous. But again, Fnatic Academy, they're so scared of LDLC at this point because they've been given free reign as everything. So Misty's going to see this flashbang go over. He'll be ready for any eventual push here. I'm not sure if he'll be able to hold out the full force of this if all three of these players decide to move through. We'll find out in a second. The smoke goes in. Not going to do much, unfortunately, besides deny the player from peeking out on a bit of a short angle. Have to go wide. However, they don't even check around the corner. Mistu gets his first strike for free, throws in the nade. That's going to bypass the second player's. Existence found him, and well, there you go. Existence rocks up the second one. It's just JZ Walkings now, and he's stuck in suicide over here by top mid.
Yeah, it was just the bait team coming in there, because if you have a player behind the door there, and you can have a player in CT, or at that angle, trying to bait for your teammate by shooting, so they think, okay, that's sick from JC. Let's see if we can do more. He won't. But that backup position there that Existence plays in and draws all the attention towards him when the terrorists want to go out mid doors. That's just perfect, because then the player in the corner can just stand there and hold that position. When they come out, just gun them down. Worked out perfectly, buddy system there between Existence and his teammate down in mid. But JC Walkins trying to take matters into his own hands with the no-scope there. That's beautiful. Fully flashed. But once again, like 2 kills with an AWP, that's not going to make a big of a difference. Like, they need rounds right now, just not single kills.
Yeah, the money actually, as we saw for a moment there at the beginning of the last round, is actually not as great as I thought it would be for a score like this for the guys on LDLC. So it is plausible for them to kind of break that and try to get their way back in. But I mean, this quick of a start with this dominating of a scoreline, it certainly doesn't leave a whole lot of room, unfortunately, for Fnatic Academy to wiggle back in. Even if they suddenly start winning these rounds now, the guys on LDLC already have a commanding scoreline, which they can just carry into the second half.
So let's see them. That's the LDLC boys on the stage for you. And as you said, yeah, economy is not looking as good. They have XMS on 4,400 after buying, I think. And some of the other guys are above 10k, but still that's what you expect after a lead like this 8-0. And I'm not sure if this is, there might be a tactical pause, because I was about to say, if I was Samuelson, who we just saw on camera, the Fnatic Academy coach, I would probably take a pause right now. And that might be the case, just to take a breather, relax. These are not impossible to kill. We can still do this. Focus up, and then let's go back into the game. They don't really need to do anything like tactically. I'm not sure if what they've been doing so far is their actual setup, because then they need to change that, of course, because you can't like stay in T-spawn. That's not a good tactic. But definitely, I think they just need to take a breather, relax, and then go back into the game with fresh minds.
Punishing the aggression a little bit more would be a start to it. Twanu, or I think it's Twanu or Mistu mainly, will push themselves through that mid door pretty consistently now, especially Twanu with the money he has. He can afford to do that even if he does drop the op early on there. And they have the support system set up, so Existence is sitting back there a little bit as well to be able to trade that out should one of them get knocked out. So managing that over in mid and just getting sort of that staging ground, which teams always use to either execute that into the fairly standard plays you always see on this map, which is like either the direct cap play area, like the mid to B, which you can do for mid. Just getting that area would be a start for these guys.
Yeah, definitely. It's not much of a strategical point. It's just like the players getting back into their own minds and just playing normal CS at the level that we know they can play, because this is, of course, LDLC are playing perfect, but Fnatic Academy are not up to their usual standard right now.
So they're back on the Tech 9 buy mainly. Golden's able to get a Galil for himself, but that is it. Flashbangs, however, are going to send the guys on LDLC back a little bit early this time, or previously they were able to smoke this out and hold them away, but now Molotov's rolling. That smoke's going to come out a bit late as one of them has already crossed the threshold here. Alex may not even have time to get his gun out. He just barely gets behind that box after he throws the smoke, but JZ Walkings, he's going to take him down. Look at how close XMS is to the action, though. He can try to move back in and counter these guys back out. He's chasing one of them down over at long, but he missed the guy that retreated. Still doesn't matter, though. He's going to sneak in for 1 kill. Mistu found one, too, but Batten catches XMS on the flank before he can do any more damage here. It's down to a 2v3, and Tonu is wasting no time moving back in with his teammate together. They've already knocked out Plessin, but there's Golden with the trade, and he gets the second one, too. A total of 3 kills on the round for him, and the fast-paced play works for Fnatic Academy to finally put them on the board after 8-round straight of losing.
Yeah, this was the same strat we saw a couple of rounds ago where it just fell to the ground, and now somehow, some way, it's worked for Fnatic Academy. Just running out with those Tech 9s, putting the smokes down. They had one Galil I think that was actually with Golden who got the 3K in the end. So good investment, putting that on him, getting some range as well along with the Tech 9s. Now they're on the scoreboard, 8-1. Still a long way to go for Fnatic. But look at that, Bottom out in the middle of nowhere, getting shot down, and Golden now easily coming in with the revenge. But still, they don't have long control.
XMS is going to give him a little bit more room to work with here. The smoke will give him extra room to navigate around this, but as we can see, trying to get aggressive, and he plays the angle so well. Gets Plessin, hedges him out before he can retreat back over here to the long doors. And again, it's Fnatic Academy after they lose 1 or 2 players, they just get so scared, so hesitant. They fall back into these angles, and now look, the trap has been set up. Tanu is waiting for them outside of these doors. Down goes JZ Walkings. Golden is all that's left alive, and he is trapped inside of these doors. Swings out, gets that first kill, tries to transfer the spray. That's going to be a little bit messy because he's moving. He still has 9 bullets left though, and he cannot get that kill, unfortunately, onto existence. He's able to successfully fall back. And unfortunately, if he swings around now, there are 2 more players waiting for him inside of those doors.
Definitely, he has to use the small amount of utility he has left to get something done here. I would actually like him to go through the smoke here and trying to get the kill onto the guy in CT, because he's probably not going to be able to get that bomb down with the 2 guys pushing from long, and he knows that they're going to be encroaching on his position. He just gets shot down after trying to take the duels but not finding anything.
And there you go. There's the economy reset too, which is the T's worst nightmare at this point.
Yeah.
They've struggled. They actually, like I said before, they were rather close to bringing LDLC down within just like 2 or 3 rounds in a row. Yeah. But now not even being able to accomplish that. They win 1, and they get reset, and this is their worst nightmares. They have to start from ground zero now. I
think actually with the money that was on the LDLC side, they would have needed just 2 or maybe 3 rounds in a row, and then they would have been on the eco. So that would have been perfect. But as you said, just reset. Alex just pushing up towards middle with an M4. This is straight no fear right now, because he has that backup system in mid. There's Twanu once again. They trade a couple of kills, but still it's a 1-man advantage for the CTs, and they'll take that. Especially when Existence is in that position here. We're now rotating off to a different one, and XMS once again just pushing here onto shot, making sure, okay, they're not up here. We know there's one in middle at least. We don't know where the other guy is. So they got most of this TTM under control now.
The problem is that despite the fact that the T's kind of hold on, they have no clue what's going to come next from LDLC, so they have to check everything just to make sure that LDLC didn't sneak anything in as they're moving out. And they're both separate from each other too. Botan is now moving on his own over there towards the top tunnels, or he's thinking about it anyway. Just turned it around, is now heading back over towards Xbox. And JZ Walkings, he's got a position outside A long, so they could try to pinch this right now over on A. If Button goes back over here on through Cat, which is probably the best choice considering the other 2 rotated to B. But we'll see, as XMS has been pretty good at holding this on his own too.
See if he can win the duel now. He sees the terrace down there, and it will be JC Walkings to pick up XMS. And now it's a 2v2, and JC Walkings though on 10 HP. So that's going to be pretty scary for him. 100 HP on both CT players and kits on both of them, but not a lot of utility, just a single flash on each as they try to do the retake here.
This dude's sneaking back in. He's, oh my goodness, he's JZ Walking's out in the open, but it doesn't even matter. The last second reaction from JZ Walking saves his own life. He takes him down, and he gets the last kill too. JZ Walking, who's some incredible heroics. It brings the guys from Fnatic Academy back into the mix to pick up a second.
He should not have been allowed to do that. That low amount of HP, yeah, that was crazy. I would love to see that shot like in a replay at some point. If we can get that shot on long that he did, just turned around, just clicks him straight in the head. Disgusting, disgusting.
So, unfortunately, LDLC, not as consistent of a lead back as they'd like to get, as now Fnatic Academy's picking up surrounds. Golden, though, tries to rush in, thinking that flashbang would have hit some of the T's, too, but it's not the case. And now, oh no. This could get dirty real quickly as Mistu hides in the smoke. He's going to move in. He's going to see this first. JZ Walkings, he's picked up a kill on the site, onto existence. Moves in, there's the instant headshot. Gets a second, now he's facing fire back from the other side, but he swings in for a third. JZ Walkings finally going to finish the job with the trade, but now he's got a 1v3, and he can't do anything about it. Beautifully played, and again, LDLC just trades the rounds back.
What a round from Mistu right there. He's backed up into the corner. He has a 5-7. It's going to be very much against his odds, and he just hides in the smoke, steps out, clicks one, turns around. He knows there's one in the smoke. He knows there's one in the side. He knows where almost the entire Fnatic team are, and he just takes them all out almost. Insane play from him. And now, as you mentioned, Fnatic Academy forced onto a super eco here. They're not going to buy anything apart from a P250 and a flash. And there we go. Late into the round, they actually add a couple of weapons. So they decided to go for the force up here, but they decided to wait like 10 seconds in spawn. So they've wasted a big amount of time here, and they won't be able to rush anything now, like they did in that long push.
Tonu has that aggressive angle again over there through the mid doors, and again, it's the same story for Fnatic Academy. Previously, we saw these guys kind of congregating outside of the long doors, and they just wouldn't hold anything else but that. So at the very least, they've gone back to a bit of tunnels control, but without top mid, this plays right into Tonu. It's a good thing he misses that shot at least, as right from the get-go there, these guys would be behind again, but he's just going to smoke that off and fall back. The Tease, however, will flash it. He knows that they may get aggressive on that one, so he pretty quickly falls away from that, and he'll just chuck that off as a failed experiment for the time being.
Yeah, interesting choice here. Let's see if these pistols can work out for them. Tonu tries his best, gets the leg shot down, so one player 19 HP as the Fnatic Academy players rotate on towards A shot where Alex is watching, and he's had a crazy game so far. Let's see if he can hold it even more.
They don't have anybody else trying to stop him from peeking inside of those mid doors, so Alex knows they're going to push back in here right now. There you go, 1, 2, 3, tries to go for the fourth, but unfortunately cannot get that. He's taken down by the nade from Karis, and now the last few remaining players that are not already close, as they said, are certainly going to be rotating over towards it. And the guys on Fnatic Academy, they're just rushing to get the bomb plant. JZ Walkings holds for one, takes it XMS, but he's down at 16 HP. That's going to make for an easy trade on Tonu's part, and as he moves in, he looks for the last one. He actually doesn't get it. It's Existence that picks up the kill, so it's a costly round for LDLC, but still, at this point in the game, the economy is of very little concern to them as they lead 11-2.
Yeah, and that's my concern here as well, because there was one player who could not afford to buy in this upcoming round if they fully ecoed. That's the reason why they did this. So I'm kind of wondering, would it have been better for them to just have that one player on a UMP45 and then the rest? Oh, okay, I take that back. They're forcing up now with almost no utility on this team, and Button just on a Tech 9, just with head armor. This is a very strange choice from Fnatic Academy, and these are 2 rounds in a row with questionable buys. So hopefully they can get something done, but at this point, unless they get something individually going, it's going to be very tough for them, and they do get the good start here.
The timing on those peaks is a bit off from LDLC. Fnatic actually very quick to get themselves out, but here's Tonu now, and he's going to line some of these up a little bit too early there on the re-peak back behind cover, however, so he misses the second shot. That Molotov, I think he's actually good, and oh, the smoke was too far. Existence is doing work, however. I just noticed Golden and Pleasant both have already gone down too, so he saves his teammate, bails him out big time, and now Mistu's sneaking up, preventing the retreat in its entirety. However, JZ Walking's in a good position as well. He realized this is a possibility. He's going to line that up, and now they've got Farine over an area like mid, but they may not even need that, as Boten's also just found another kill against Tonu.
Okay, so this is actually paying off for them. And gambling a bit, Fnatic Academy, and eventually winning out. 2v1 against Existence is probably the best scenario they could have hoped for in the end, but Existence is a smart man. He knows exactly what they're doing, even before they're doing it themselves, and he just steps. Let's see here if they are aware of his position.
And there's the lineup, 1 and 2. Existence shuts it down on his own.
Read them like a book.
Absolutely. Important note, too, interestingly, which almost would have stopped them from buying into this round entirely on the replay, but not this round that just happened, but the one before that.
Yeah.
You saw when Alex got that big spray and the bomb dropped, and the bomb almost actually goes over the ledge and down below on that A side. Yeah. So they almost didn't even get the plant there, too. It's a bit lucky that the bomb doesn't get shot a little bit forward more.
And this is the 3rd round in a row where they're not buying up completely. 3 half buys in a row, and this is looking like Envy start 2016, where they just buy up every single round, and it's just not working out. Look at the history books, boys. It's not going to work out.
You can see XMS here, a little bit low on ammo there, so we'll have to take the time to reload, but they've already got a 5v2. There's really not any reason for them to get aggressive right now since they hold the ultimate advantage, but if they just want to close the round out quicker they can, but now they almost certainly will, since it's just Pleasant, and I think they know he's here still, or they know he's in the area. So Alex boosts up on top so you can see over, and he's going to leap in. Oh, no! What? How did that happen?
Oh, wow. Well.
Yeah. I mean, it gets
shut down in the end. Trying some fun there. LDLC, of course, will shut the round down in the end. This has been a very, very one-sided first half. 13-2 in favor of LDLC here over Fnatic Academy on Dust 2. And LDLC looking like big favorites to take it to the winner's game here.
Absolutely. Unless there's some major issues that suddenly start to pop up for LDLC on their T side, Fnatic Academy, well, they're gonna have to bring all the changes themselves if they want to have any chance at all of bringing it back from this very bad scoreline against themselves, unfortunately.
Definitely. And despite, of course, LDLC being very good on CT side, I think with Existence at the command of this boat here, he's going to be very, very strong in the C side. He has a lot of stuff prepared, especially in the pistol round. He's an old school player. He knows that the pistol rounds are where you need to fire your best guns and best strategies. And if they get that pistol round, then they're going to be on 14-2. Then they're probably going to win the next 15-2. And then when the first buy round comes around, it's basically just over.
Absolutely. So for the guys here on LDLC, feeling good about it. And honestly, that team kill at the end might have been a little less accidental than I originally took it for, considering the fact of how much of a lead they had. But guys are just having a good time now. I mean, it's a complete... I brought up the fact that they were looking actually rather lost on Dust 2 when they played it in the grand final, the event that they were just at, but this is almost the exact opposite. Yeah. They look controlled. They look like they have, you know, complete reign over their opponents. And just like that, however, Golden's going to grab the first kill against Mist2 to start off the second half.
And this is one of the things that you don't want to do. You don't want to challenge these USPSs at long range or medium range where the Glock is just not going to be as efficient. And they're trying to do that now. You need utility behind it if you want to do it, because Karas right now can just spray them away. And there goes the flashbang. A bit off timing. So Golden will get one in the end. So it's going to be 2v4. XMS coming in with one. Alex with one as well. So this is actually doable now. The bomb is actually dropped right below. And that timing...
Alex
so
is trying to hold on to
unlucky.
it here, and Alex, though, he gets the kill on a Plesson. The timing was unlucky, but they make up for it with a kill at long range there. Now, they've got this evened out, but no! JZ Watkins going to find XMS. He goes out a little bit too wide, and Alex have to look to clutch with only 14 HP. A nice start to it, but Batten with a kill out of nowhere shuts out Alex, and it will give Fnatic Academy the chance to get back into the game.
USPSs, man, just too strong.
Absolutely. CT's overpowered.
That's how it is. But right now, we will, of course, see, with the bomb being down, being planted here, we will see a full eco probably coming out of Fnatic or out of LDLC, and then them buying AKs in the round after that. So not expecting too much out of this round here for LDLC. If they can, they're looking for another bomb plant. But if they can't, they're just looking to deny a couple of weapons on the CTs here.
So we will jump into that second round and see what exactly LDLC have to throw against them. And it does look like they are going to go aggressively into it. Twanu immediately starts it off with a wallbang headshot through the door. Goodbye, Plesson. Existence looked like he wanted to take that battle a second ago too, but he goes back to the smoke at the last second. They're going to leap in. They thought somebody was at Big Blue at first. He's challenged, and he's actually able to control the spray very well. He runs out of ammo there, so he has to fall back. But still, already bringing this down to just 3 now for Fnatic Academy, and they have the advantage right now. Let's not forget that.
Yeah. So let's see here. 3 weapons. JJ Watkins and Golden both with M4s. Alex coming in with the deagle here now at this spot here, which we in Denmark call Gandalf, after, of course, the Great Wizard. Very weird name for a spot, but love it nonetheless.
Why is that called Gandalf?
I have no idea. Danish mixers. They're weird.
That is weird. Anyway. Well, Fnatic Academy now. We can see Golden trying to rotate back in. He gets himself a pretty decent angle here against Twanu, but yeah, there you go. It took a few minutes, but was able to get the shot eventually. Karas also rotating back in too. So they're slowly getting back control of a round that almost looked like it was going to go LDLC's way. Now, however, it seems a bit in the realm of fantasy, unless Existence can pull off a big upset here. 1v3, and all he's got is that scout.
Yeah, that's the thing that I didn't really imagine them doing, is spying up on this round here. But they did go ahead and buy 1 AK-47 and 1 scout. So they're obviously not going to have money to do a full buy in this round then. They're going to be on another Tech 9 or something like that eco. But look at the confidence. Of course, Twanu going for that shot, but also Existence saying, okay, I'm the in-game leader. Drop me the AK. I want the AK full armor, and I'll go win this round for us. And there's a big amount of confidence coming out from Existence there. Now we do see basically just a casual setup here. They've not invested too much into this. Going to try and get the bomb down here. But they know they're up against probably 4 weapons. They're going to be straight up killing them. And then the UMP-45 important, which if they run into that, they're dead as well.
And pretty much everybody on LDLC2 is just going to work their way on a cat, which means this could go one of 2 ways. Either it's a very quick shutdown from Karas and anybody else in this area, or LDLC somehow managed to get through, and this could go the exact opposite direction. But there we go. It's already 2, now 3 in the favor of Fnatic here. Karas with 2, Gold with 1.
Bomb down, though.
He's sneaking in the smoke there, and they've only got him down at 25 HP. It just barely goes down. Karas actually gets a jumping headshot, I believe, to end it, but still, the plant was made, and that's the important thing.
Yeah, mission accomplished, to be honest, here from Fnatic Academy, or from LDLC. That's what they wanted. They wanted to get that bomb down, so now they have complete economy. They can get AKs with utility as well into this upcoming round. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how Fnatic are going to be able to hold LDLC here on the CT side in the first buy round of the game.
And so that's when things get a little bit more interesting, of course, since LDLC still has this very big cushion of rounds to play with. Fnatic Academy needs to remain in the lead here and not throw away the advantage they've gotten with these first couple of rounds here. They have to build upon it, and this is still a very long road to travel down, despite the fact that it seems like things have started off well. Existence, what is this? Just walking in, taking a huge risk, but it pays off. There's literally no one even close to mid. You have nobody on the cross at A watching towards CT. You have nobody even watching this window. Look at this. He's going to walk right in. There's the first kill. He does not check the safe spot, so JZ Walkings trades it, but still, that's opened it up now, and he knows exactly where this last player on the site is, and they can send the bomb over here. There's XMS with the pickup, and now Alex came in behind Existence to be able to hold off rotators.
What a weird round right now. Mister, of course, with the flank. Just taking down bottom, and now it's all on Karis. 1v3. He knows the bomb is going to be planted in B, and he can't do anything about it. Double kill from XMS coming in, and that's going to be one of the nails in the coffin, to be honest, because that was the first buy round. Fnatic Academy had to take that and then build the comeback, but it did not happen in the end. That means LDLC are going to be in 14 rounds, 14-5.
And it's great about this, too, is they have this perfectly set up. Even at this point, when it's still uncertain as to how successful Existence's push is going to be, they still had Mistu set up at that point outside of those long doors. That wasn't like a spur of the moment thing, so that was all pre-planned. They had to have known that that was going to play out. That's really well laid out by the guys on LDLC. Perfectly played, and right back that just like that, I should say. They're right back in the driver's seat of this match now.
Yeah, definitely. 14-5 is the scoreline. The Frenchmen are leading to the Swedes at 5, but nonetheless, still economy to buy an AWP and M4s for the entire team on the Swedish side, so they still have some fight in them.
So Alex will move his way over on a cat early on. He's got a couple other players grouping up with him too to move over onto this site. Early flashbangs, not really going to impact them that much, of course. Really just trying to throw them off a little bit, as we do see sometimes these the flashbangs end up being tossed in as a bit of a faux sort of strat there to try and lure them closer to mid. But it's not going to be the case here. We still have the bomb actually sitting on top of Xbox, but two guys on Cat. This time, though, that aggressive push in mid is not going to be nearly as successful. JZ Walkins gets the read on that. Now, all of a sudden, though, you got 3 moving in from Cat, and a quick adjustment from Existence does take down Karis. He was the only player here. They now had 3 in mid after we saw that one guy go down there. They weren't going to take any chances on that after what happened in the last round. Mistu, although he's low, he's got the angle to hold off players. They're going to move in from mid. Grabs 1, and all of a sudden, Pleston has to spin around, but it doesn't work. He grabs 2 before finally going down to JZ Walkins, and JZ Walkins, he's going to pick up another one against Existence. He's even this out into a 2v2, but there's a long watch coming out from Tanu there, and now it's all in the hands of JZ Walkins in this 1v2 to stop LDLC from getting into match point. He's just going to leap against it, but XMS holding close behind the pallet there. It's not going to stop him, and we will see LDLC get up to match point.
Okay, so let's face it, this is probably going to be a victory for LDLC, but you have to say JC Walkins coming in as the stand-in. He's actually on the scoreboard right now on the top of it for the entire server, actually. He's 19-15, despite being behind 5-15. That's actually insane. But nonetheless, LDLC are definitely winning this one. Fnatic on a scrappy buy just to take whatever they can and try to make something happen. But, oh, look at this from JC Walkins once again, trying to make the plays here to bring Fnatic back into the game.
It's moving forward now, and there's nobody really watching for this. If he can move up quickly enough, take a look at where the bomb is right now, he might be able to cut that off. The big problem, though, is that the rest of his teammates do not have anything like this. But Existence the read on it again. He spots it coming. Just to be safe, he throws the bomb out, and he's also going to have his teammates coming in a crunch in case there was anybody else left over. That was the only big gun they had, too, and they risked it by throwing it out towards top mid. Now all they have is pistols. Botan has already gone down here, and we've got 3 more left alive that are going to try to crunch in mid themselves. Alex unfortunately meets his end there, but this is a very small victory for these guys. That, however, may help them out a little bit. Golden's taking down XMS, and now all of a sudden they have 2 AKs to work with. Decent amount of utility as well to retake this site.
Let's see him. Pleasant, Karis, and Golden. Can they do this? Let's see. Oh, there we go. Boost coming in.
Tanu has found
Run
Karis.
boost. Let's go.
And we're gonna they missed it. So, what could have been cool does not work out, and now they're both just going to run into it, and there you go. LDLC shuts it down with an absolutely dominating performance here on Dust 2. They will take control of it. 16-5 is going to be the final score, and that will shoot them forward into the upper bracket final.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to be facing against Heroic in the upper bracket final in Group A. That's going to be an interesting matchup coming up later today, but right now we have to focus on this game and try and break it down what's happened. Of course, we're going to try a little bit here, and then we're going to send back over to the desk in a couple of minutes, and they're going to go really full deep with the analysis there. But yeah, 16-5, that was very one-sided from LDLC.
At LDLC, I mean, once we saw it right from the piss round too, just giving the guys on Fnatic Academy literally no respect in that matchup.
Yeah.
Especially on their sneaky side, just pushing into him, not letting him control any areas of the map. Until we saw the pause being taken there, like I mentioned, they were literally restricted to that one little corner outside of T-spawn, just outside of the long doors. That was the only area where they felt safe, and there were certain rounds where that was entirely true. If they decided to move anywhere but there, they probably would have been hunted down.
And of course, the teams just saying GG to each other. Good sportsmanship from both of them. But I have to say, LDLC looking very, very strong. I was kind of waiting for them to play their first game to see how they were going to do in this tournament, because the final at the Mountain Dew League, which you at, were not very good for LDLC. So now with them being in this kind of position, I think they are a serious contender to go to the final and maybe win this event.
Possibly. It's always been a story of these guys trying to feed themselves up to the next level, but always kind of meeting a lot of resistance in that respect. So we'll see if this is the tournament where they finally are able to do it. They almost did it last week, but then fell short in the finals after like a really surprising performance came out from the guys on Rogue that sort of seemed to explode on the last day all of a sudden. So we'll see if LDLC can keep up performances like that against some of the other bigger teams now, like in the upper bracket finals and when we cross groups, of course, too.
Yeah, definitely. You have to say Existence once again. We said this at the minor. Of course, being a member of the Existence fan club, I'm accepting all other applications to join the Existence fan club. You want to get them in before the tournament ends, so you look smart and savvy. But on to another guy who looks smart and savvy. It's Pala on the stage.
Thank you so much. I'm here with Alex from the winning team LDLC. That match was probably very, very easy in a way for you guys. It looked like it was quite a dominating performance from an outside perspective.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, but we got the win, so that's the most important.
What's it like playing a team like Fnatic Academy, who are kind of like up and coming in the scene and not necessarily proven yet, and there's not much out there that you can do like research on?
It's not scary, but we don't know what to expect, and playing FPL a lot, so the aim styles, I guess, so it's quite hard to play against them.
What about the map, Dust 2? Were you happy that it ended up on that map, or do you think it could have gone even more one side, or even harder in one case on a different map?
I think we're always happy to play Dust 2. French teams always are, so yeah, I'm just glad we played Dust 2.
And talking about that, what's your story with regards to playing Counter-Strike on a French team? Because there is some confusion out there about your kind of background, because on HLTV it says you're British. I think you do have a British background, but you spent a lot of time in France, and of course you are on a French team, so maybe you would like to elaborate to everybody watching.
Yeah, so I lived in England till I was about 10, then moved to France for 10 years, and now I'm back in England. So. But I've never played Counter-Strike on an English team.
All right, well, I guess in a way you are an honorary Frenchman. And so, rest of the competition then, what is the goal, what are the plans, and how are you going to deal with your next matches?
Well, I think we prepared for every match before coming, so we know what we've got to do next match. And I think we're aiming for a top 3 finish, would be good for us.
All right, so there we have it. Alex says they are aiming for a top 3 finish. You guys, of course, just got to the final of the ESEA tournament, and the people that beat you are here as well, Rogue. So maybe you can score some revenge. We will see. Thank you for your time, Alex, and we will now head back to Paul and the desk.
Oh, yeah, that's right, baby. He's British. We knew all along.
Sorry, what?
We're claiming him.
We were just saying he wasn't British.
Yeah, he is. He said he's born in Britain, he spent the first 10 years in Britain, then he went to France, and he came back.
And
he's come back home.
Has never played on a British Counter-Strike.
Doesn't matter. I'm not accepting that.
And he didn't have a real British accent. It was like a feigned one, but not really.
That was as British as you could get.
No.
All right. What do we think of the performance, though? It was pretty much what we thought.
Yeah, it was pretty much as we thought. The key thing for Fnatic Academy, I think, in that game was just Pleasant was just invisible. I think he finished 4-20, -16. There's just no way that team is going to win if he plays like that, if he's their best player.
Yeah.
I have the real key thing. They won 2 rounds, and on both of those rounds, they got the opening kill. On every other round, they didn't get the opening frag. So if you're not getting those opening kills on the T side, it makes it very difficult. Yeah, well, you quickly scroll through the little thing on HLTV.org and job done. Anyone can do this job.
Such a fanboy of HLTV. Wouldn't catch him doing that.
Yeah, Peter pays me. No.
I should renegotiate.
With Peter? Yeah.
Some secret payments going through the Caribbean.
Indeed.
Cayman Islands. Oh, we have the same bank, I think.
Right. You've put together some highlights for us to go through, so why don't we go through those right now?
Yeah, we're gonna take a look at if they're ready to pull on. So this is basically what we talked about prior to the game. Now this is the existence style of going aggressive on, even against ecos. But they just played very aggressive on the CT side, and that was exactly what we mentioned as the key thing for LDLC's defense, which is really just aggression. It's almost offense is their defense. They just do things that the opponents are not at all ready for. And he's Mistu just being clever with the smoke here.
I did like that a lot. And then this is just like...
We call players like that moths, right? They're drawn to the smokes. They're like little moths to the light.
So Stewie.
Yeah, they're moths. They just love it. But another thing, like in this match, to me, you know, Alex just said that they prepared before they came, right?
Yep.
Normally, the in-game leader might prepare, and then he will tell his guys on the day, like when the match is coming up, because sometimes you don't want to overload your players like with too much information. But it seems like from what he said, or I'm taking from what he said, that they've all prepared as a team for all of their matchups, which is fantastic. That's how you're meant to do it.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on the players, right? Because from my experience, I've never had a team where you could have the entire team prepare, because they're like, it takes a certain amount of, I don't know how to put this delicately.
Just come out with it. You've never been delicate before, Tommy. Why start now?
Certain amount of smarts to know what to look for and what is actually applicable to what you're seeing. So from my experience, I've had a lot of times where I would say, even before, like right before the game, in like the pre-game talk, right before 2 minutes before we go live, I'd say, yo, in the demos I saw him play here doing this, just watch out for this one trick that they like to do. And then in the game, all they would be doing is like, oh, well, I thought he was going to be doing that, and they just do that 3 rounds in a row, and you're like, well, you're not getting demo insights anymore. It's only for me. So from my experience, I'd usually have one more teammate who'd sort of be good at it, and they'd know what to look for, what kind of things would be applicable, instead of getting drawn to like the mini things. It's like, oh, I saw he got a highlight here. He's gonna do this again. So from that perspective, I think it's rare to have a bunch of teammates. Obviously, it's better if you have teammates who are smart, who can make that work, because then everybody's on the same page. They know what to expect. And it's that much easier. You don't need to wait for, if you're the leader, normally you'd have to wait for me to give you information from the other side of the map. Then you'd make up your decision and say, you might be this, and then I would be able to react to that, but I still wouldn't know as well. So obviously it makes the process a whole lot faster and more effective.
Okay, let's take a look at the statistics from our third game of the day here at DreamHack Open in Leipzig. As you can see, with 18. Reasonably good game, but
JC representing.
The one that stands out is, for the wrong reasons, is Pleasant.
Jesse had 99 problems, and they were all his teammates.
It was Paul, wasn't it?
He can have Jay-Z references for his entire career. He's a genius. He's really thought this one through. Frag movies, he can have Jay-Z songs.
Yeah.
But not victories by the looks of things, unfortunately.
Not today, anyway. Not at least in the opening game. Do get another chance, of course, so they aren't out of the tournament, which is good news, because they're going to have to play a whole lot better than that to stay in this particular tournament. Certainly to make the top 4.
And frankly, they're still a promising team. I wouldn't rule them out on that. I thought their big mistake was letting Dust2 in on the map pool. I think there were other maps that they could have shifted the veto towards. I think Dust2 against LDLC was simply a mistake, and maybe they weren't really prepared for that. I mean, we know from some of the best teams in the world that they don't really prepare that much for their opponents, so it's not surprising to me if some of these teams, even when playing against sort of similar level teams, are not fully aware of what kind of map pools they're good on if they don't practice against each other, because that really is the way, as a player, that you know what map you're good on. Against, you know from practice. You don't look at results the way us do. We don't have the insider information that the players do.
Alex said in his interview that they're prepared. They're prepared for every team here, and that they are, in his mind, ready to finish top 3. Do you think that's realistic?
I would say that they have a good chance of making top 4. I don't think there's any question about it. It's a fair shot for sure. I'm not sure they're favored, because I think that group is just very, very wide open. But they definitely have a fair shot. And he also basically said that he's French.
Well,
we don't need to fly the flag. Don't worry about it.
We can disagree with this, because I'm surprised at you, Tommy, frankly. You know, you live and work in England. I know how much you love our internet over there and love the transportation system and love the weather in England. I'm surprised that we haven't converted you yet.
Yeah, you keep waiting. You know,
okay.
One day maybe.
All right.
Though I don't really dislike the weather. It's better than Finland.
That's true. Yeah, there's less snow, that's for sure. And on that note, we're going to head to a break. When we come back, though, we do have our final group opening match of the day, where we're going to see our final 2 teams in action. That's right. Next up, Rogue versus Vega Squadron is coming next.